What's going on, everyone? So, Blake Hinson has been in the lab working on his game, and you'll love to see it, right? He's one of the few guys that the Lakers had picked up that you believe can make an impact right now. Now, obviously, he hasn't actually played NBA minutes. That's why I say you believe, just like Dalton Connect, right? Dalton Connect is a guy that we believe should be able to make an impact right out the gate because of his skill set, his shooting, the way he can play off ball, be a movement shooter, things like that. Blake Hinson provides a lot of those same things, right? He's big, he's got that like football build, and I could see him slotted in at like the 4 spot. I don't really know if he could defend the 3 well. He doesn't move great. He moves a little better than Rui, but I wouldn't. It's not really this huge landslide, but I do think him at the 4 where he can be more physical, he can kind of slot up, he's not going up against the quicker, twitchier wings. I do think he could provide some relief on that end. Now, obviously right now the Lakers roster is full, so Blake Hinson's probably only going to get spot minutes and spend most of the time in the G League. However, if the Lakers do pull off a trade, I know a lot of people don't believe that the Lakers will, we'll see, but if the Lakers are able to pull off some type of trade, then chances are they're going to need very cheap talent that they can bring in to kind of fill out the roster. Blake Hinson is a guy that I think makes a lot of sense, right? Gives you some size, gives you that shooting more than anything. The defense is a little questionable, but I don't think even if he was to be slotted in, I don't think he's playing a huge role, if at all, right? I think he's just kind of there in spot minutes just to give you that off-ball shooting in J.J. Redick's offensive system, which I do think he could really thrive and be great in, just kind of moving around and, kind of just not standing still for one, right? Like, can he continue to shoot on the move, which if you look at the video that he showed, he's doing that, right? He's, moving to the side, catching the basketball, right? Taking a step, boom, pulling up, right? If he can continue to develop that and improve on that and be that type of player, then I think he could slot in beautifully. Now, again, even if the Lakers did pull off a trade, it really would depend on who you're unloading and what type of trade it is, to where even if he does come in, how many minutes does he get, right? Because, if you trade Rui and let's say you get Jeremy Grant, just an example, right? Then Jeremy Grant, you're probably playing the 3 primarily, right? So you're going to have something like D'Lo, Reeves, Jeremy Grant, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. And then you'd have like Dalton Connect, Max Christie, with Jared Vanderbilt, right? Gabe Vincent, if he's out on that trade, like how does that work? Do you have like Reeves slot in at the point at times? Do you have Jalen Hood-Schifino slot in at the point at times? Right, that's where my concern lies there. Or do you kind of stagger D'Lo and LeBron and stuff like that? But the point being is that, like, okay, so basically your 1 through 3 is entirely locked up, right? If you get rid of Rui, now you do have Christian Wood who can slide in and slot in at the 4, and he's probably better at the 4, right? Or he at least is capable of playing the 4 because he has good size for a 4. The 5, he's a little undersized, but also his advantages, especially against bench units, make an argue, okay, the 5. So let's say at sometimes you play him at the 4. Maybe you could get Blake Hinson there in some like limited backup minutes behind LeBron James, but I also got to imagine that at times you're going to play Jeremy Grant at the 4 because he's played a ton of 4 over his career, so he's capable of doing that. So you do that. You could also slot Jared Vanderbilt at the 4 at times and kind of mask him offensively rather than him at 3. Like, so again, I don't know where you would be able to genuinely slot in Blake Hinson to where he can have a significant impact. So I don't necessarily, regardless, see him having this like huge impact and being this big impact player for the Lakers right from the jump this season. I do think, again, spot minutes. Hopefully it's not just garbage time. Like, even if the Lakers don't free up a Ross spot and it just stays as is and he's primarily playing in the G League, I would like to see him get some meaningful minutes during the actual season, right? Rui's out for a night, whatever. Let's bring Henson in and actually let him play. Because that was something that the Lakers just didn't do last season, right? Like, so many people, Jalen Jalen Hood Schifino. So many people are already writing him off as if he's a bust, but he's busting everyone up in the G League. I understand the G League is not the NBA, but it's a good sign when you're better than everybody in the G League that, hey, this is going to translate, especially at 20 years old at the time, right? That's a great sign that he has the potential to be something, right? So, but the problem is that when he did get NBA minutes, it was all garbage time. It was all meaningless minutes where you're just trying to get out of the game. You're not running with your actual NBA players. It was Jalen and Schifino and a bunch of like G League guys, right? Like, so there's no real structure. There's no real sets. There's no real play calling. It's just up and down the court nonstop. So how can someone get comfortable with irregular minutes and have no level of consistency, right? Like, I don't care who it is. I mean, if you play LeBron 3 minutes a game, and, what are you going to get out of LeBron? Like, yeah, you probably get more than what you get out of Jalen Schifino, but you're not going to get LeBron, right? Like, so to me, it's the same thing with Blake Hinson and, some of these other guys, like Armel Traore, right? Like Colin Caston. Like these guys, if you really want to develop, and the goal is to really turn these guys into quality, productive players on the basketball court, you need some actual NBA minutes. Right? Like, I'm not saying that they have to play 30 minutes a game, but if you're going to play them in significant roles, right? Play them in an actual structured offense. Play them as if they were part of the team for the moment, so that way you can get and see and it really properly evaluate. How do you evaluate someone when they're playing garbage time and it's only the last 2-3 minutes of the game? Right? Like, one, you get guys that are just trying to impress and they're doing too much rather than playing within the system, playing organized. Like, just, there's so many things, right? So Blake Hinson, if he's just coming off the bench and, playing garbage minutes, you're not going to really get a good evaluation of what can he do at an NBA level. Maybe he's not ready. Maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe he's terrible in regular minutes. Okay, well, now you know. At least now you have this barometer that you can go off of and point to. And on top of that, you can put yourself in a position to kind of make more educated decisions, right? There's more evidence on like, okay, right? Like how far, we kind of judge how far he is or how much strides he needs to take. Or maybe he is great out the gate. Like what if he does get, say you give him 15 minutes one night and it gives you 12 points and he's just hot and he's going off. Okay, well, that's good. It's a good sign, right? So he can catch fire. Is this something that is a commonality? Obviously, shooters are going to have their ups and downs. Obviously, all shooters. I mean, even Steph has had terrible stretches, right? But it's about the consistency. Okay, yeah, he gave us 4 threes this game. Can he give us 4 threes every game? 3 or 4 threes? Is that just like his average? Or is it like, no, it's like 2 or 3 a game, right? Like, but he has to get X amount of attempts, right? But so to me, it's like, how do you gauge that unless you give him real opportunity? I'm excited to see him really working hard and honing his craft. And he's one of the guys that I am very excited for with the Lakers. I still think Armel Traore is probably like my favorite. Like I just love his versatility. I just think he's a guy that just has great size, could essentially play 3 through 5. And, defensively and his versatility, obviously he needs to work on his shot. He's very raw, but he's also very young. He's also like, 5 years younger, 4 years younger than Blake Hinson. So a lot of time to grow and develop him. But he's a guy that I'm really excited for, right? He might be a legit two-way guy, like our new Jared Vanderbilt in the near future, but hopefully better offensively, right? Even if he's not as elite defensively as Jared Vanderbilt, if he can just be like very good defensively and give you good offensive production, then that's a huge, right? If he could be anywhere close to like OG Anunoby, right? Just the guy with similar size type thing, right? Like if he could do something like that, that would be a home run because he is big, he is physical, he is long, he is versatile. But Blake Hinson is a guy that I really do think could make an impact right now. And again, he's not gonna have the pressure, right? His job is just to go out there and just, hey, chuck it up, give him the green light and let him go, right? Don't try to make him something he's not, right? Slot him in at the 4, spread him wide. Hey, buddy, you get the ball and you can get it off, get it off. I don't care. Get it off, right? Obviously within reason, right? If you have like 4 guys on you, no, pass the ball. But, like if you can get your shot off and a guy's closing out, get it off, right? Like that's what I'd like to see from Blake Hinson. in spot minutes, give him, obviously if you do a trade and you bring him on the main roster, I'd like to see him, on average getting 10 to 12 minutes a game, right? I mean, if he's really good, he's like, oh man, this is a real piece for us, right? Then yeah, sure. Then you want to give him more, then give him 15 to 20 minutes. But I don't really see him as this like 20 to 30 minute guy. I see him as just this slotted in, giving you some production off the bench, even just long term, right? Like I don't, because of his age, I don't think he'll be that like huge stride guy that like you're like, oh man, this guy is clearly your starting four, right? Defensively, he's a monster. He can shoot. He can put the ball in there, right? He has a lot of holes to his game, right? The ball handling is a little concern. We even saw that in Summer League. Obviously, some of those things can be refined, but I just don't see him, like if he was 19 doing what he's doing, I'd be like, dude, this guy could be a star one day, right? Like, but I see him more as like that off the bench shooter. Maybe he's a starter at some point, depending on, who the other four are, right? If you just need that kind of stretch, 6'8" guy that can, just be physical and kind of bully ball type guy, right? Like, cool. I could maybe see him get there. But to me, I just look at him more as like that catch and shoot movement shooter, that guy that, can play off of LeBron, play off of AD, play off of D'Lo, and he's just kind of moving out around the perimeter. D'Lo, LeBron are kind of operating and getting him good quality looks, and which he's able to capitalize on. That's where I see him at just now and long term, right? Obviously, I don't want to put limitations on him, right? You never know. Guy, I mean, maybe he does take significant strides. He just seems, right, like, I think he's closer to his ceiling than he is his floor, personally. Where, like, a guy, like, again, like Armel Traore, I think he's nowhere near his ceiling because of his age and just skill set. And you see all the little things that he could potentially be very good at. It's just kind of getting him locked in. But as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Blake Hinson? Do you like seeing him and just kind of working on his game, working on his craft? Do you think he's a guy that should come in and get some meaningful minutes now? Do you think, no, stay away from him now, right? Let him develop in the G League. Bring him in spots. Let him get a few minutes here and there. Again, I'm okay with him spending primarily in the G League. But, if he plays, say, 15 games, then those 15 games, he should be getting, 15 minutes. Otherwise, just leave him in the G League. Like, why are you going to bring a guy on the court just to, like, make him feel like he was on the court? Right? I'd rather you put him on the court and see if he can give you some production, especially somebody like him, right? Somebody that is looked at as like, hey, he can help now. He's got the age, he's got the physicality, he's got the build, he's got everything that you want in that regard. But do you feel the same way? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.